Charlie and the brave dog Max. In the quiet little town of Riverbend, there lived a boy named Charlie. He wasn't the tallest, the fastest, or the strongest kid around, but what he lacked in size, he made up for in heart. Charlie loved two things more than anything in the world: going on adventures and his loyal dog. Max was a big golden retriever with soft, fluffy fur and a tail that wagged so hard it could knock over just about anything. Max wasn't just any dog. He was Charlie's best friend and his fearless companion in every adventure. Charlie and Max did everything together. They explored the woods behind Charlie's house, climbed the biggest hills, and even made up secret missions where Max was the hero, always saving the day. They were the perfect team. Charlie couldn't imagine life without Max by his side. One crisp autumn afternoon, when the leaves were just starting to turn gold and red, Charlie and Max set off on their biggest adventure yet. Charlie had heard stories from the older kids in town about a mysterious place deep in the woods, a hidden cave that no one had ever dared to explore. The cave was said to be full of treasures, but also guarded by strange and dangerous creatures. No one had ever seen it and come back with proof, but Charlie knew he had to try. He wasn't looking for treasure, though. He just wanted to prove that he and Max were brave enough to find it. "Come on, Max," Charlie said as they headed towards the forest. "This is going to be our greatest adventure yet." Max barked excitedly, his tail wagging in agreement. He was always up for an adventure, especially when it involved Charlie. As they walked deeper into the forest, the trees grew taller and the air cooler. The sunlight began to fade, casting long shadows across the ground. The deeper they went, the quieter it became. The only sound was the crunch of leaves beneath Charlie's sneakers and Max's paws. After what felt like hours of walking, they finally reached a clearing, and there it was, the cave. It was much bigger than Charlie had imagined. The entrance was dark, wide, and almost seemed to swallow the light around it. Charlie felt a chill run down his spine. For a moment he hesitated. What if the stories were true? What if something was lurking inside? Something dangerous? He looked down at Max, who stood by his side, his eyes bright and tail still wagging. Max wasn't scared, and if Max wasn't scared, then neither was Charlie. "Let's do this," Charlie whispered. Together, they stepped inside the cave. The air was cool and damp, and the sound of dripping water echoed in the distance. The walls of the cave were rough, and the deeper they went, the darker it became. Charlie pulled out his flashlight and flicked it on. The narrow beam of light cut through the darkness, revealing strange markings on the walls. They were old and faded, but they looked like they had been carved by someone or something a long time ago. As they moved further into the cave, the tunnel began to twist and turn. Suddenly, Max stopped. His ears perked up, and he let out a low growl. Charlie froze, his heart pounding in his chest. He shined the flashlight ahead, and that's when he saw it, a shadowy figure moving at the far end of the tunnel. It was too far away to make out, but it was big, and it was coming toward them. "Max, stay close," Charlie whispered, gripping the flashlight tighter. Max stood his ground, growling softly as the figure came closer. As the shadow drew nearer, Charlie realized it wasn't a monster. It was another dog, a large, scruffy black dog that looked scared and lost. Charlie relaxed a little, but something still didn't feel right. Why was this dog here, alone in the cave? And where were its owners? Max barked and wagged his tail, and the black dog cautiously approached. It looked tired, like it had been wandering the cave for days. Charlie knelt down and gently patted the dog's head. "Hey, buddy, where'd you come from?" The dog whimpered and licked Charlie's hand, but before Charlie could think too much about it, a loud rumbling sound echoed through the cave. The ground beneath them began to shake. "An earthquake," Charlie gasped, standing up quickly. But it wasn't an earthquake. Rocks from the ceiling began to fall, and the cave walls started to close in on them. "We need to get out of here, Max. Let's go," Charlie shouted. Max barked, and the black dog followed as they sprinted toward the cave entrance. The tunnel behind them was collapsing, rocks and debris falling all around. Charlie could feel his heart racing as he ran, the flashlight bouncing in his hand, barely lighting the way. Just as they reached the entrance, a large boulder crashed down, blocking their exit. They were trapped. Charlie's mind raced. What were they going to do? There was no way out. He looked down at Max, who was sniffing the air and wagging his tail, as if he had an idea. Max trotted over to a narrow gap in the rocks, barely big enough for a dog to squeeze through. "Max, what are you doing?" Charlie asked, confused. But then it hit him. Max had found a way out. Charlie hurried over to the gap and peeked through. On the other side, he could see daylight. The exit was right there, just a few feet away. But there was no way Charlie could fit through the gap. "Go, Max. You can do it," Charlie said, urging his friend forward. Max wiggled through the gap and disappeared to the other side. Charlie's heart sank as he realized he was still stuck. But then, to his surprise, Max didn't run off. Instead, he started digging at the base of the boulder, pulling away dirt and small rocks. The black dog joined in, and together, the two dogs dug furiously, creating a larger opening. Charlie's heart soared with hope. "That's it, guys. Keep digging." Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the hole was big enough for Charlie to crawl through. He squeezed through the gap and tumbled out into the sunlight. He was free. Max barked happily, wagging his tail so hard it looked like he might take off into the sky. The black dog wagged its tail too, happy to be free from the cave. Charlie hugged Max tightly. "You saved me, boy. You're the bravest dog ever." They made their way back to town, the black dog following close behind. When they reached Riverbend, they found the dog's owners waiting by the town square, frantically searching for their lost pet. They were overjoyed when they saw their dog running toward them. Thank you," they cried, tears of happiness in their eyes. "You're a hero." Charlie smiled, looking down at Max. "He's the real hero," he said, giving Max another hug. And from that day on, Charlie and Max became known as the bravest duo in Riverbend, always ready for their next adventure. Together, they had proven that no matter how big the challenge, with courage, loyalty, and friendship, anything was possible.